Hello everyone, this is Diane. I have these journals finished. So I have 4 journals similar to these that will be going in my shop. I am going to list them Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was going to do Friday, but since I am Eastern, the people out west would still be at work probably when I list them, so I don't know about other countries. I don't know the time zones for the other countries, but I decided to go with Saturday. I thought everybody might have a better shot at it then. So Saturday morning, 10 a.m. I'm trying to think of the date. It's the 16th, I think, February 16th. Okay, so let's just start going through these 2 books. This one is called Kind. That's the word here. There's some lace on it, and this one is vintage. This is a piece of vintage sheet back here, piece of vintage printed lace or ribbon. And this is a vintage. All of the images on these books, on the front covers of these books, are from a set of vintage decoupage images that someone sent to me. Cheryl sent me a whole bunch of them. So I used 4 of them on the fronts of these books. There's a cute little button here. I cut the shank off it. There's some cheesecloth, and then I stamped the word kind on muslin. The fabric on the spine is coffee dyed muslin, and I put this rosette trim down the spine. It's got a pretty pink cover, 3 signatures. I used a piece of scrapbook paper for the inside, and this really beautiful, delicate vintage lace right here. This is a printable. I used a lot of different printables in here, so I'm not going to try to say where I got them all. But this is one, and I made it into a pocket with some bits of, this is a antique lace here. So pretty. And then this bit of lace. And this is a tag that I stamped and colored. This Tim Holtz paper at the front. These are printables. I had said that I didn't know where that came from, these labels. They came from the Calico Collage Club, I will say that, because I had mentioned them in a previous video and I had said the wrong place, but Calico Collage Club. There's a bit of that vintage lace right there. A shorthand book page, a book from a vintage furniture book, a page from a vintage furniture book, a little space for journaling there, and you can write on the back of that tag. This is a beautiful digital paper. I love that. And a vintage sheet, a vintage piece of embroidery, and vintage lace. Makes a really pretty flip there. A stamped image. This is a lined paper. And this is just a beautiful card that I just slid over the edge of the page, and there's lots of room for writing on it. And on the back, I covered up the back of it with the pink guest check. There's this pretty pink heavy paper there. It was the end papers of a book. This is a paper clip that I colored with alcohol inks, and then I tied some pink fiber to it. Vintage atlas page, a square doily, just a thin piece of craft paper with some stamping. Vintage music paper. This is a piece of Tim Holtz paper, and this is a modern fabric that I got at a quilt shop. There's a printable, the coffee dyed paper, and then this was a tag that I Mod Podged a napkin to. There was a video on that. The napkins on all of these tags came from Truly All Supplies on Etsy. I did a lot of inking in these books because I had a lot of white pages. There's a belly band here. This was also the end paper of a book. some stamping up there. A sheet, vintage sheet. It's a little tuck spot there. I need to put something in there. I'll put a tag in there, a little card or something. Another guest check. Piece of tape stuck there. Got it off. This is a printable doily, and I put this little circle image inside. And there's a printable that you can write on. And then this is just a leftover piece of paper, Tim Holtz paper, so you can write on that. Second signature starts with this. This is also a printable embroidered linen on a Tim Holtz page. This is a printable. I really enjoyed making these books. A little bit more glue there, tape. There's another printable, and this is a printable from all these doilies and linens, and this came from Roxy Creations. And she was the one that inspired me in decorating these covers. That's Rachel from Roxy Creations on YouTube. She also has an Etsy shop called Roxy Creations where you can get the digitals. This is a beautiful digital page. It's like layers, collage paper. I don't know where I got that from. I got it recently and I can't remember where. It's another one of the printable doilies. You can write on the back, and I clipped it on with another alcohol inked paper clip. Some fabric here, a printable doily. I did that on a full page. Vintage graph paper, some lined paper, printable. Now this one came from Gail. Gail Agostinelli, in her shop, she just did some digi sheets of some trims that she has, and I love this pink one. Thank you, Gail. I got 2 of her sheets. There's one of my lady stamps. Oh, I did them. They're different stamps, at least. I didn't know I did them so close together. That's okay. There's an Edith Holden page with a printable envelope. I didn't put anything in there. You can put something in there. The pages are various sizes. Oh, I have to put something here. I get this pattern from my Nordic Wear cookie sheets, but I also get where it says Nordic Wear, so I have to cover that up. I love these pretty button cards. Don't remember where I got them either. I love this fabric. It's just a vintage piece of fabric, and I put it over the edge of the paper. This is a file folder type of card with birds on it. You can journal on that. Love this Tim Holtz paper. This is Memoranda. I think that's my favorite set of his of all time. Vintage lace pocket there, printable. There's a printable there and a couple here. The furniture book again. This is from a calendar about, I don't remember if it was Impressionist or just art, but there's a page there. I believe that's Renoir. I am not positive about that, though. Shorthand page. Edith Holden. There's a coffee-dyed ledger page. This is one of the Tim Holtz papers, just a small piece, 6x6 piece. I put a pocket on it and a couple of labels. Inside is a corset, or a dress mannequin, and some vintage cigarette cards with flowers and gardening tips. Cigarette cards or tea cards, I'm not sure. A printable. This was cut off from one of the pieces, and then a couple more vintage cards. I like the way this looks here in the center. This is the pink vintage tracing paper. I think this is one of Gail's too. This is a printable that I printed out onto vellum, stapled it on there. There's another napkin with these vintage ladies, Mod Podged that tag, and a printable back behind it. This is a vintage fabric here on the edge of the paper. There's a little printable pocket tag and a playing card. I have these playing cards in my shop. There's another of the mannequins and another printable behind it. And then on the back, I made this, took another scrap of Tim Holtz paper and just made it into a trifold and added a printable tab on it. Put a little pocket on the back with a Renoir card. This is in my shop also. And this little place card. So this one is called Kind. The next one is called Dream. This is vintage lace here, vintage up here except for this little piece. There's vintage music paper behind this decoupage piece of this image, and it's on a nice deep burgundy cover. Again, muslin fabric, copy dyed muslin fabric, vintage lace on the spine. Oh dear, that got stuck on there. I'm going to have to glue something here, something decorative there. And some vintage lace. I will make that look pretty, never fear. Scrapbook paper here. Oh, I have to put some lace on the inside too. There's another tag that I made. Love this paper. Another of the same cards with a guest check on the back. Vintage atlas. Square doily. Napkin decoupaged. Another belly band with a printable postcard or letter. I guess it's a postcard. Some vintage gingham and floral fabric there. A little tuck spot. This is vintage. 1898. And this is just a scrap of paper. I had so much fun making these journals. I just love them. This is Tim Holtz paper beginning the second signature. This was a cutoff and it wasn't quite deep enough, so I added this little strip. This is from a vintage sheet. Edith Holden paper. A little place card there. I just put it over this page. And this one had the imprint from my baking sheet on it, so I used a piece of that digital there. I probably don't want that over there because of It covers up the stamped lady, so I'll put it on this sheet. Vintage tracing paper. This is a handkerchief printable. This is that bird folder, and it's on an Edith Holden page. Printed onto vellum. There's the glassine bag with some elements on there. A little tag inside, and this beautiful tag. Just a place for journaling with a little bit of collage here. The mannequin. This is a vintage paper. This is one that I tried to make look vintage by wadding it up and inking it. We're on the third signature now. This is vintage lace right here. This is a playing card. These are in my shop. This is an index card with decoupage napkin on it, and this is a piece of Gale's printable. There's a doily. An envelope, nothing inside it. Button card, it's a digital. This is a digital square crochet piece. Look at this pretty collage paper. It's a digital. And again, I'll put some lace down here. So, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I will have Dream, Kind, and then the two that I showed a couple days ago, Cherish and Bonjour. All available in my shop, and I will leave the link below. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.